Hello guys, today I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial that would be either bridal or prom or when you really just want to look radiant and glowing and timeless, classic, elegant. I could keep going. I already applied my NYX pore filler and I used the NYX Photo Loving Primer next. You would want to use, wash your face about 30 minutes to an hour before you apply the makeup. And then I'm looking for a chapstick. There we go. As you're doing your makeup, you can apply a chapstick. And this will just, or a lip balm or Carmex or whatever it is you use to keep your lips really moisturized so that during the process your lips are nice and moisturized. So after you wash your face 30 minutes to an hour before, you'll go ahead and moisturize. You'll prime your face. I use the pore filler and photo loving primer from NYX. You can use also the Too Faced Primed and Poreless. You can use all kinds of stuff. The next thing you're going to do is prime your eyes. Rather than using a traditional primer or a MAC paint pot like an soft ochre or painterly, I'm going to use it in Indian Gold. And it's a pro longwear paint pot. It's just a cream. And you can use a tool for that, but I'm using the gold because I just think it gives a beautiful glow. And that'll give a nice foundation for my eye makeup. The reason I'm starting with my eye makeup today, I normally do the face first, is because I want to be able to tug, I want to be able to touch my face and not worry. I want to be able to have powder fall out onto my cheekbones and not have it ruin the entire look. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down my base shadow. Now this already has a nice golden glow, but it's not that powerful. So I'm taking my MAC eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to stick to this neutral side. It's got just a lot of whites, golds, tans, pinks, browns, khaki, pinkish, goldish, that kind of stuff. The first color I'm going to lay down, you want to stick kind of matte for a wedding day because you're going to have a lot of flash photography. So this one is called Wedge by MAC. It's like a soft tan color, pretty close to skin color. So I'm going to put that on my eyelid with a fluffy brush. You can use like MAC's 217. You don't have to be real precise with this because we're going to be doing a lot of blending on top. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a transition color down. This is MAC's Soft Brown. It's kind of almost like an orangey brown. I'm going to use that same brush and I'm going to put that right in the crease as a transition shade. So that whatever we do, this is going to be close to the brows. It's kind of like a lighter shade before we get to the brows, and it's going to separate that dark crease color and outer V color that we're about to do and have another shade there to kind of ease the transition up to the brows. Alright, so as we're speaking about brows, I'm going to go ahead and fill mine in. I'm just using MAC's Cork. Omega is also really good, or Soft Brown, depending on how dark your eyebrows are. So I have a whole tutorial on brows. I'm not going to go into detail. You can also use, you have very like brows that kind of move around a lot, or you really want them to stay, you can use a brow gel, or even just do your powder like I'm doing with a small brush with small strokes, or you can go over it at the very end with a clear mascara, which are like super cheap. You can get those for like $1 or $3 or something at the drugstore. Anyway, this just gives them a more filled in look, if you can tell. Nothing crazy. I still want to look like me, I just want to look like a more refined me. Okay, so now we have a little bit more of a frame to the face. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pat with a more thick, dense brush that doesn't move around a lot. It's flat. I'm going to pat on the lid some pigment. So this is MAC's pigment in Old Gold. This is the small size, but I just feel like you can never use an entire pigment. So I'm just going to take what's in the cap and dip my little brush in there and just give it a little bit of a shimmer. This isn't glitter, it's just pigment. So it's got like a slightest bit of shimmer, but it's not going to be anything crazy. Alright, after that I'm going to go ahead and do the outer V. I'm going to use that same brush because that color's already on the lid. It won't matter if I mix a little bit. For that I'm going to use MAC's Soft, Brown Script and Swiss Chocolate. They're right next to each other. There, this one and this one. They're really similar. Brown Script is more of a red color, and Swiss Chocolate is just more brown. I'm going to just do the outer V and kind of darken it as much as I think I need to. You don't want to look crazy, drag queen on your wedding day, just enough to look like you have defined, nice eyes, I guess. I don't know. But there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and do the crease with that soft brown and brown script and just sweep it back and forth in windshield wiper motions. Now right now I have like a bunch of streakiness going on. I don't know if you can tell. So don't worry about that. We're going to highlight anyway. But you can take a big fluffy brush and blend them all together. The secret is layering and blending and layering and blending and layering and blending. So this is just a clean, flat, fluffy brush, and I'm just going to blend forever and ever and ever, what feels like forever and ever and ever. And hopefully by the end you're satisfied. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of a light shimmery pink, just a very light shade, and I'm going to apply that on the lightest part of the eye there. So this is going to be Max Jest or even Naked Lunch, and just kind of open up the eye. Do you see how that like really brightened it? And yes, I'm layering. So if there's any step here where you're like, I don't have that color or I don't want to wear that color, there's a lot of layering going on. I'm just patting. I'm not wiping, so I don't want to wipe away what I already put down. I'm just giving it a nice pat. Okay, so next I'm going to do the highlight, and I'm going to use more of a matte shade than I normally would. This is Max Blanc Type. I really like a shimmery highlight, but I wanted to make sure that this isn't crazy looking. First, I'm taking NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Cottage Cheese, and I'm just giving it a once over in each area. But I'm going to blend it out with my fingers, and then I'm going to put powder over it. Like I said, layering. You want to do some layering, because if that powder fails you throughout the day, you'll still have that the under shade to like back you up. So wedding day, you know, prom, you need it to last a long time, not like 2 hours for an interview or, you know, basic everyday makeup. You need it to last 12 hours. You're going to be getting your makeup done at noon. The party won't be over after the reception till like midnight, you know. Okay, so now that I have the basics on the eyes done, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my face. I'm going to do concealer. This is Maybelline's Instant Age Rewind. I wanted to talk about a little bit as to why I chose some of the products I chose. So right now I'm just going under my eyes, and I'm doing the V. You can tell that's kind of the plan. The reason I chose some of the products I chose is because you want to use HD makeup for flash photography. Doing down the center of my nose, up in the brow area. HD makeup is going to give you that flash photography proof makeup, that you're not going to look like a ghost in flash photography. And that's going to really help, because I'm just blending it out with a stippling brush, just a bit. So I'm going to put foundation on top. Because that SPF in regular foundation in photography can make you look, flash photography can make you look very white. And so I'm going to go ahead and counteract that by using some HD products that don't have SPF. Now you can use an SPF moisturizer or SPF powder at the end. Maybe you won't get the white cast, but I feel like if you use a lot of products and layer them that are all SPF, you're going to have a lot of problems with the flash photography. So if you notice, the first primer I used, or the second primer, was NYX Photo Loving Primer. So this is supposed to be great for that. The next thing I'm going to use is Makeup Forever HD foundation. And I know a lot of women like to do this on a brush or a beauty blender. I'm using a sponge. It's my tried and true. And I don't want to wipe off that concealer I just put on. So I'm tapping, patting. I'm not wiping. Alright, so as soon as I finish this, I'm going to go over it with some powder. Now this is an HD foundation, so it won't give me that white cast. The powder I'm going to use is NYX. They also make great HD powders for Makeup Forever. They're $42, so since I'm not actually getting married, I chose not to purchase that. But if you were and you really wanted to make those photos, maybe your senior pictures or your wedding or engagement photos, baby photos, I don't know, wedding, all that stuff, prom, you want to get an HD foundation. I know this color looks pretty white on me, but it's not. And it may be hard to picture prom makeup and wedding makeup if I'm wearing black and my hair back gets wet, tied up. But I just really wanted the focus to be on the makeup, so I got my hair out of the way. And anyway, after I do this, I'm going to dust it with some powder. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. We're just trying to set this wet liquid because it will leave your face. One of the biggest things that leaves your face the fastest is blush, because it's a powder, and powders don't tend to stay that well. But if powders are set with a cream underneath them, they have something to adhere to, you're going to get a much better application. So I'm just blending it down my neck a little bit. Okay, powder, here we go. This is NYX Stay Matte Not Flat. And I'm just going to do a nice dusting over my face. This doesn't have to be accurate or pretty translucent to me. It's not like a very colored shade, pigmented. That's the word. Okay, so next I'm going to use a bronzer. This is Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. And the reason I chose this one is just because it's a really light bronzer. And I'm just doing the, from my ear to my, like halfway to my lips to give myself some cheekbones. If you have trouble seeing it like I did, you just move your lip to the side. And now I can see it pretty clearly where my cheekbones should be. Okay, so I'm just kind of using round circular motions to blend that out. If you have to blend it one direction or the other, blend it upward. It'll disappear into your blush. You want that line underneath the bronzer to be very clear and defined. Not defined, that's not the right word. Defined would mean it's very visible. I just want it to not, I want this part of my face to be blank because I don't want it to look like I had a problem matching my foundation color to my face. That's kind of the point. Okay, so next I'm going to do blush. This is my MAC blush palette, Pans. I'm trying to grab it, sticking on the table. Here we go. Sorry this is going to be a long video, guys, but I feel like it needs to be done. So the color I'm going to use today, this is a MAC Pro Longwear, or Pro color, Blush All Day. And it is a beautiful pink, like rose dusty pink color. This one's supposed to last longer than the average blush, so that's why I chose it. But if you're into corals or rosy pinks, go for it. I'm just dusting this on the apples of the cheeks. If you really want your blush to last a lot, you should put a cream blush on first. Just tap that on with a sponge or your fingers, and then put the powder on top. I don't know why, but I don't have any cream blushes. It's kind of strange. Okay, so I just did a little bit on the apples of the cheeks just to give myself some color. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is a highlighter. So this is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting. You can also buy like the Laura Mercier a highlight duo, and there are 3 colors in here. There's dim light, incandescent light in the center, and radiant light over here. I'm going to use the radiant light, which is kind of a more of a beige gold color. I'm just dusting that on the top of the cheekbones. Bridal looks tend to be very highlighted, so you could use a fan brush for this. I just like that I get more of control when I'm squeezing my blush brush. So basically using a fan brush, and just chose to continue with the same color. Now I'm going to use the middle shade in here because I don't feel like I was getting enough highlight with that color. So I just switched to the whitish shade in the center. Alright, so the blush is done, powder's done. The next step would be to bronze up on your temples, anywhere you want to get some natural color. So I'm just going back in and bronzing up my forehead a little bit. Nothing visible, really. It shouldn't be visible to the naked eye, but just enough to give me some color. I'm bronzing underneath my chin to do some contouring, just to make sure that it kind of recedes from the camera. You can buy a lot of contour palettes. They're amazing. This is more for the everyday woman that doesn't know a whole lot about makeup. Then the shade I'm going to use for my lips is MAC Syrup, a lipstick. And the reason I chose this is it's kind of a My Lips But Better shade. And I'm going to go over that with the NYX lip gloss. This is Mega Shine lip gloss, and this is the color Nude Peach. And I can apply that just on the center of the lip to get a little shine. or all over. You can line your lips if you want it to last a really long time. That's always great. And then now I'm going to go ahead and just finish up the eyes. I'm going to take a liquid liner. This is MAC Rapid Black Penultimate Liner. Just stretching it a little bit. You don't want to go crazy with the wing on your wedding day because you don't want it to look trendy. You want it to be classic. So I'm not doing a lot of wing, which is like my go-to look. Just a classic sweep of black eyeliner on the eye. And do the same thing on the other eye. And then I'm going to go in with a pencil liner. And I'm going to do the lower lash line with a brown pencil liner. And I chose brown because I don't want it to be as harsh. This is the Julep eye kohl in dark brown. Just did that. I didn't go all the way in. If you notice, I stopped here. I don't want to close my eyes in by lining them completely. I just did a little bit. Okay, now you could also right now put on some false lashes. I chose not to because it's just a standard Saturday. I'm just hanging out with family. So I chose not to put on false lashes, but there are tons of videos on YouTube on how to do that. If you want to learn, I encourage you to check those out. That's how I learned. Well, that's how I perfected it. I've been putting on false lashes for way too many years. Okay, so now would be the time to curl your lashes with an eyelash curler. Like I said, there are tons of videos on that. And then apply some mascara. This is the Makeup Forever. And you'll have to tell me if it looks like smoky extravagant when I put it on. I'm applying it on the lower part of the upper lashes. And I'm applying it from above, going downward, and kind of curling the wand out as I do it. Okay, now I'm going to go back from below. And one of the things I'm going to do before I do the mascara on the lower lashes is I'm going to take a eyeshadow and line the lower lash line with some eyeshadow to give it more dimension. You want to make sure you're using waterproof eyeliner and mascara for your wedding day or anytime you think you're going to be crying, whether it's just a large event in your life. So I'm going from above again. And now I'm going to go from below the upper lashes. Okay, last few things here. I'm going to take an eyeshadow and a really skinny brush. I like to use the one I use for my eyebrows. And that would be a really tiny, tiny brush. And you can just choose any one of these neutral colors, one of the colors you used up in your eye work. I'm going to use MAC's Brown Script, which is that brownish red. And I'm just putting it as close to the lower lash line as I can. And I'm going to go ahead and smoke that out, which by doing this, I'm going to use a big fluffy brush again. It's one of my favorite things. And blend that out. And just keep blending until you're satisfied with the results. Now would be a good time if you wanted to check on the rest of your face. You know, is it good? Do I feel like I need more? Do I need less? Am I highlighted? Am I not highlighted enough? I'm going to use some more of that ambient lighting palette, and I'm going to put more under my brows. I just like a lot of highlight and in the inner corner of the eye. What can I say? I like a lot of highlight. I'm going to put a little bit of highlight at the Cupid's bow. So the light reflects up and makes my lips look bigger. And I'm going to take a little bit of that darker shadow or darker bronzer on that brush. And I'm going to put it on the sides of my nose to contour just a little bit. So those are the last steps. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it all with some setting spray. Today I'm going to use the Urban Decay Chill Makeup Setting Spray. It's made more for dry skin. They have a few different, I think they have 3 different formulas, but this one is specifically made for drier skin. So if you can tell, my nose looks a little skinnier now. So I'm just going to give myself a good spritz of that. And there you have it, prom or bridal makeup. You can add more colors to add more dimension. You can use black. You can smoke out the upper line of your eyeliner with some eyeshadow as well on top of that liquid liner. But it's not necessity. That's just an idea of how to make it look a little bit more dramatic or smoky. It actually might soften the look depending on what color eyeshadow you chose. So if you have a black liquid liner and you went over it with a bronze eyeshadow and then buffed it out, it might actually look really pretty. I chose not to do that because I don't want to mess up the eye look I already had going on. So I'm going to move the camera a little bit to give you different lighting. Just you, but better, right? All right, guys. If you have any questions or want to know about some alternative products you can use, please let me know in the comments. I'm going to use some e.l.f. high definition powder. The reason I chose that high definition powder was just because like it's going to be better in flash photography. But since I already did a setting spray, I'm going to pass on that. I did use a powder after I did my foundation to set that, so should be all right. But if you want an extra level of protection, go over it with a translucent powder at the end and then a setting spray. You should be good to lock it all in. Thanks, guys. Bye.